started. I don't know if it did. Hello and welcome to the Bigger Flip Show. My name is Michael Pinter, where I teach you how to start flipping houses, or if you're already doing it, how to do it bigger. So we're analyzing this wholesale deal that was a really good deal that I closed a while ago. We're going to talk about it more at the Nassau County RIA meeting a week from yesterday, November 21st in Lynbrook. I think there's a link to sign up if you're not signed up for the RIA. We meet twice a month, every month for many, many years. Even through COVID, we met online. Um, well over 100 meetings of the Nassau County RIA, and I'm going to do a deep dive analysis into this deal. So first I closed the deal and I didn't think much about it. Then I realized all the things that I did to get the deal, and we spoke about some of them over the recent one. So I spoke about giving post closing possession, where I gave them 4 months after I closed to stay in the house rent free. We spoke about getting a high ranking from the Better Business Bureau, which is one of the reasons that they sold it to me. Another thing that I did was they didn't have an attorney. They didn't sort of want an attorney, but I knew that this was going to be a complicated situation. So I referred them an attorney that I paid for. Now, let me make it clear. There are a lot of scumbag competitors of mine who will have a fake attorney, not a fake attorney, a real attorney, sort of represent the seller, really not representing them at all, right? And doing some bullshit, shady work. And I've seen the contracts, and it's bullshit, right? If the attorney never meets with the seller and the attorney never really knows what the seller wants, the attorney's not really representing the seller. I got a good attorney who I paid for, and I told that attorney, you are going to represent your client. You don't owe me anything, and I will pay your fee at the closing. And that's what I did. Now, people don't understand, when you hire an attorney, either to represent you as a buyer or if you're paying for a sales attorney, you shouldn't have to pay them anything until the closing. So that's one of the things I did, and I thought it was important. They said we don't need an attorney, but I knew that this was going to be complicated, and I certainly didn't want to get into a situation where the seller sort of didn't leave, and there's escrow being held for them to leave, and for them not to be represented. I didn't want this blowing back up in my face. So having them represented by a very, very good attorney, and I picked the attorney because they've represented the other side on a lot of my transactions, whether they were representing a seller when I bought or representing a buyer when I sold. So it's something that you can do, but you need to find a good attorney. This was a great attorney I actually used. So I use the Newhouser law firm most of the time, and this was the law office of Aaron Katzman, and they're in Valley Stream, and they're good. They're good. It's mostly women, it's female attorneys, but they're all competent. They know what they're doing. They were a pleasure to work with, and I have lost deals because I referred shitty attorneys to sellers. Right. So in the past, I used to ask my attorney, "Do you have an attorney who can represent the other side?" And over the years, you get referred crappy attorneys because they don't want competition. So when I finally said I got to get good people, I used the law office of Aaron Katzman. They're very good, and my attorneys are the best at the Newhouser law firm. But offering to pay for their attorneys to get this thing going was another thing that I did, and it's something you should do. Now, we all dream about closing deals in New York as they do in other states where there is no attorney. But I would say it's so common in New York to have all parties represented by an attorney that you have to be very careful. So if it's a clean, simple deal, and I'm actually doing one now as I speak, and the seller wants to sign an affidavit that says I'm not being represented, and you can do it. But if it's complicated, and this one was complicated, or if it's being wholesaled, for example, and you're signing the contract, you're not closing on it. The other deal I was talking about, I'm closing on. You probably should have them represented by an attorney, and you should not let them not be represented by an attorney. I could do a whole nother, and I've done a bunch of videos on why you want the seller to be represented by an attorney, even though it makes the getting the property under contract more complicated. It's still better than you being the one who's going to do all the things that a seller's attorney usually does, like clear title and get a checklist so they know how they want the proceeds. This is all crap you don't want to do, and then you're not going to remember to do until the closing comes, and then you're all up the creek. So I hope this was helpful. If you're interested in all the ways I can help you, you can go to biggerflips.com. And please, if you haven't signed up for the RIA meeting, I really would love to see a bunch of new faces there, or if you've come before. So go to meetup.com/Nassau-County-RIA. Thank you very, very much for watching. I mean, that didn't end.